Maximiliano. Hey, congratulations on Mr. Peacock. I am Mr. Mercedes, which is on Peacock.
On Peacock, October 15th.
So this show has been out for a while. So let me reverse course. What attracted you to be on a show like Mr. Mercedes?
Well, what attracted me is a phone call that I got from David E. Kelley and Jack Bender and Dennis Lehane. And I was like, why are these three men calling me? And Dennis Lehane, who's a fantastic writer, novelist, was like, hey, I created this character. He's going to be on this show. Would you want to come be a part of it? And I had worked with Jack Bender before. Jack was executive producer of Lost. And he and I had worked on a show called The Last Ship that he was also executive producer on, directed a lot of the episodes. And they were like, this is based on a trilogy of novels by Stephen King. We've already shot season 1 with really fantastic actors, having Brendan Gleeson and Harry Treadaway and the cast, and Holland Taylor and like everyone involved, and Jarrell Jerome. I was like, yeah, sign me up. And I'm actually in Charleston, where we shot the show, is where I live now, because I fell in love with the city, and I ended up leaving Los Angeles and coming here. And it definitely left an impact on me. But it was really exciting too, because it is Stephen King's take on the detective novel, which is very interesting to me, because there's always a twist. There's always something odd that happens, and something fairly supernatural. So yeah, I was very, very pleased, and I knew the people that I was going to be working with were fantastic and top notch, and that's what I want.
How do you feel about playing a character that's not referenced in the original books?
What's funny is it gave me a lot of freedom, because I could essentially, like the books are very specific about the characters, and not being in the books gave me a fair amount of freedom to do whatever I wanted and to behave in whatever way I felt helped the character, convey what was happening. So there was definitely a lot of freedom in it, because I think, a lot of people get scared that, oh, this character has to be this way, and they kind of like lock themselves into it. But for me, it was sort of a free for all. I was like, I'm going to figure out what works. We had great material to work with, and then I'd be like, hey, I'm going to try something a little fun with this. And they'd be like, yeah, sure. So there were no limitations, because my character didn't exist in the books.
So for those people who don't know, could you tell us about Antonio Montes and being an assistant DA and his ambitions?
Yeah. So Antonio Montes is a assistant district attorney in the fictional town of Bridgeton, Ohio. His father was also a police officer, and his father worked in the same precinct as Detective Hodges, played by Brendan Gleeson. So I've been around cops my whole life. And, I think me becoming a lawyer, becoming a prosecutor, I saw the trappings of like what police life was like, and I didn't want any part of it. Like I saw what my father's life was like, and I definitely wanted more. And I definitely wanted to be, sort of like this bombastic kind of character that would be comfortable speaking in front of a crowd, because he has, political aspirations. And I remember when I got the phone call, and Dennis said, I'm thinking of this guy kind of like in the sort of Trumpian way. Like he just says whatever he wants and how, in whatever manner he wants to say it. And he doesn't really care about like how it impacts anyone. So I found that really interesting. And it was the one thing that I kind of like put into the character, where he would just say random stuff or say it in a really sort of hard way and not really care about how it affected the people. So yeah, it was, I like the idea of like him not, having the connection to the police anymore, because he didn't want that, and he just wants to be a political figure. He wants to be, big shot in a small town.
On television, you played a lot of these Law and Order type of characters. How do you enjoy playing Antonio different from all these other characters?
I think because a lot of them had to sort of follow rules. Antonio kind of didn't have. I made sure he didn't really follow rules, even though he was an officer of the court. I mean, he's a ADA. I think part of that is helped by the fact that you know there's a supernatural element obviously in the show, and he can't wrap his mind around it at first. He doesn't want to believe it, and so it gives him the freedom to be like, all right, everything's off the table. Like I mean, like I don't know what is going on here, and I'm freaking out. And he allows himself to sort of to sort of bend the rules, to do things that maybe another ADA wouldn't do. But I think he's well justified in it.
Talk about working with some of the actors like Brendan Gleeson, and I think you worked with Jack Houston as Felix on the show.
Yeah. Jack was great. He's connected to Hollywood royalty, Jack Houston. Lots of family members in the business as well. So it was really nice to like just get in and we would chat and we would talk about, stuff. I would ask him questions because was a big fan of John Huston and his films. But working with Brendan Gleeson was, all the actors, Rita Wool, Harry Treadaway, Justine Loop, like everyone was, fantastic. Brendan is a very special actor, a very special person to work with. He is the consummate professional. He is always prepared. And in being that way, it propels you to want to do better. It propels you to want to do more. And to take chances and to have fun. And I would say to him, hey, I'm going to do a little something, okay? He'd be like, okay. He'd sort of like roll his eyes and I'd be like, I'm going to say something. And he's like, okay, all right, I'm ready for it. I'm like, so it was nice to have a really good dance partner. He's a fantastic dance partner, sort of ready for whatever we decided to do. And when you have someone who's just so well-heeled as an actor, it gives you the freedom and the ease. I mean, we had a record. We shot one scene in 90 minutes, which if people ever come visit a set, they know it takes forever. But we had our material down. It was a fair amount of material too. And we was 6 pages and we flew through it. And we were even with multiple cameras, I mean, 90 minutes is like insane. And we were like, I was like, okay, I'm done for the day. I'm going to go home now. And everyone was in shock. Like and I was like, we got it all, right? We got everything. And we were 90 minutes and that was pretty fantastic. But that only happens if you're prepared. And if, you have someone like Brendan, who is going to be prepared. The guy is a machine. And I've had such a great time watching him on the Comey Rule. As President Trump. I mean, he's just phenomenal. I mean, when they announced it, I read in like Variety, they announced it. I was like, Brendan's gonna play what? I had no idea. And then I saw it and I was like, wow, like just wow, But yeah, the actors are phenomenal.
Excellent. Well, I'm very excited to binge this on Peacock. I'm glad it moved from audience to Peacock, so that it gives a wider.
We are also very, very happy that it moved to Peacock. We are very happy because people will actually now be able to see the show that we put together, and we're pretty proud of it. It was David E. Kelly was like that was like the biggest bummer he had was like, I just want to I want everyone to be able to see this show, and it going to Peacock is fantastic. And we all, the cast, we could not be happier that it's going there. Everyone be able to actually enjoy it, watch it, and enjoy it.
Excellent. And one more thing before I let you go. One of my favorite characters that you portray, obviously, is in the Marvel Universe with Agent Jasper Sidwell. So Thank you for playing that character for so many years.
Hail Hydra.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Bye now. Next time.
Take care.